Hey, thank you for being here with City Beauty Lip Oil. We're going to use another Lethal Cosmetics BYOP because I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to keep or put in my Mercari store, what I'm going to swap around. Today we are going to use our Rainbow Orchid palette. I think this is a keeper for sure because it has darker tones in it, but we're going to see. So we're going to kind of stay like right here, and these two I believe are dual chromes. And I do have Rise from the Ashes in another palette. This is Equinox that we used the other day from in another palette. And so I'm looking at, I just want to see how I feel about this look. And even though I'm saying that, my decision is not just based off of a look, because I have lots of looks with all of my Lethal BYOPs. This one is Rainbow Shorebird. This is the one where all of these were on clearance. These show up as one color, even though they're marbled. And so I am going to swatch them and see what color they are, because I might already have another Lethal shadow very similar to that color. This row is when we did a look, one eye with this row and one eye with, what Pat McGrath quad was that? It was the one with these colors, purple, blue, green. And a lot of people thought that this eye was Pat because it was more impactful. And I'm like, nah, like this ate Pat McGrath quad and chewed it up, spit it out, and buried it in the backyard. But again, I really feel like I'm leaning more towards my aesthetic, which is darker tones than, like, say, these right here. Even though y'all know I do like a pop for inner corner. I like a pop under my brow bone, my brow arch, excuse me. And so I'm going to see what these look like swatched out. Not in this video, but I'm just showing you what we're in between. Candyland for sure, the last look you saw, that one for sure is going to be dismantled. I am going to keep the two. So this is Rainbow Orchid that we're using today. This is Rainbow Shorebird. And so even looking at the top row with the yellows and like this shade right here, I'm like, I do really like this one too though. But again, I'm not going to say deceptive, but they can be, because it's like, oh, these would be really pretty colors, but it shows up again as just one color. So that's the thing with those, very pretty. And I do feel like now that I'm thinking about it more, I feel like if I do put those in my Mercari store that they will sell, because it's like, oh, pretty, and then you get it and it's just, you know, one color. So again, we're going to use Rainbow Orchid today. Base face is done. I did the base face watching the last 20-30 minutes of Janessa's video. I'm triggered, y'all. I agree with everything she was saying. She was talking about truth, seeing stuff from multiple phone cameras and people being unalived in broad daylight, and you have multiple views of that, and then the government just says a blatant lie. So it's like, yes, I'm triggered. I agree with what she was saying wholeheartedly, but it's very just surreal. Like, this is where we are right now. I use Swan for all of this, and Mood Light we put on last. We did use the bronzer. Can you tell? This is natural bronzer. We use this as a blush. What is a blush? We use this blush. We use this one as a blush light. We did use the highlighter. This is dim light. We put lightly all over, but not under the eyes, because it makes my under eyes look funky. So the only thing in here we didn't use today was this blush down here. And then we went to Mood Light and put this under eye and all over. And then we sprayed the face with the Scandinavia, the makeup finishing spray in the bridal formula. Usual suspects, primer, foundation, concealer. We're going to start using this one because I did use it before and I made a mistake and double dipped with a client, and it was somebody I knew, and so I felt comfortable just keeping it for me. But this has a 6-month PAO, so I'm like, I need to just go ahead and use that, because the Fenty does last me about, the PAO is 12 months, but I go through it in like 7-8 months, and so I know I'm still going to get through it, but I'm like, I need to use this, otherwise this will end up in the trash, or I just keep using it after the PAO is reached. So let me do the intro as I'm priming my eye, which is something I used to do on a regular basis, and then somewhere along the line I stopped. Thank you for being here, but just know I am triggered, and oh, you know what? I need to do inner rooms before I prime the eyes. Not need to, but I like to do my inner rooms after I do the base face before I start my eyes. And I'm going to take out mascara now so that I do not forget later. Hopefully, I won't forget. What colors are in here? We're going to do Love of My Life. The blue we're going to put on inner rims. This is personal preference. The green one is one eye at a time. So, hello again and welcome. My name is Dion. I call this the crazy troll nation of YouTube. Why do I call it that? The crazy. Knowing it's okay to be your authentic self in a world where people will tell you who and how they think you should be. I'm here to tell you, you set the standard for yourself. Wear whatever you want to, using whatever technique, using whatever products you want to use. If you want to try all the things, but don't try them because of some random person in a video telling you you have to. You know what I'm saying? And I am an advocate for experimenting with makeup, but not out of obligation, out of you just want to see. And a lot of times, even in my own videos, I'm like, oh, let's just do this and see what happens. And usually, turns out to be something that I like. And I'm like, oh, wow. So, that's that part. That's the crazy part. And that's the troll part, not caring too much about beauty community standards. Not too much. The bottom line here, sometimes I'm scattered. The bottom line here is self-acceptance and self-love, embracing our natural features, enhancing them if we want to, when we want to, but never feeling like we have to. Love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even when you're not wearing face paint. So that's our motto. I hope it resonates with you. If this is your first time hearing it, if you've been hearing it, I hope it has become one of your daily affirmations to just love yourself regardless of whether you're wearing makeup or not, because you are awesome. Listen, us trolls, we're adorable and we are amazing. I need to probably move you because I was watching back a video from whenever, and I was like way like over here on the side of the screen, and I didn't realize it at the time. And I realized it when I take, screenshots for pictures, because I am like really off, like on one side versus like in the middle. But at the time when I do the video, like I don't realize it. And so I need to get better with that. Yes, that's that. So this morning, it was after 8 o'clock, because I remember it was like 8:15 when I did the short of the snowing sideways outside. That was the back of the building. And then later today, maybe about 7 o'clock tonight, I took a picture of the front of the building, and I did hear snow plows at least twice because it woke me up, the sound of them scraping the parking lot. But it's still a lot of snow, and my neighbor said she kept looking out the window, and even though snow plows came, it still kept snowing. So it's just the parking lot, man. I'm just like, I'm not going nowhere. And I parked on the opposite side of the parking lot, thinking, well, because when they plow, wherever is most clear of cars, that's where they'll, carve out the snow, the ice, whatever. And so I said, I'll park on the other side. So if they plow this side where I usually park, then I can just move my vehicle back and I have to move it later, because they will say park on such and such side so they can come do their thing. They don't say it like that though. So the snow plow can clear that side, and then like 2 days later they'll say move all your cars to the other side, so that way the entire parking lot is clear. I don't have any brushes out, of course. But the parking lot, y'all, is looking crazy. It's looking crazy. And the back of my building is the front of, because my building is this way. The back of my building, there's a building this way, and so this is the front. So you see the parking lot there. So over my balcony, I see, see the horizon in the morning when the sun is coming up. And I see that building back there. But so either way, I have a view is what it sounds like I'm saying. So what Janessa was talking about was truth. Like, what is it? And she was talking about, do we believe what we see, especially when it's from like multiple videos from multiple phones. So it's not like just one thing. And then, you know, we hear, oh, well, this person, blah, blah, blah. Like if we've seen it, we've seen it. And when I got in bed after I did that video of the snow in the back, and I'm laying in bed, and I do think this is going to help me to stop being on my phone when I'm, you know, winding down in bed, because as I was watching what happened, because I saw a thumbnail about such and such, and then I said, let me just watch the video, and the video was clear. The weapon was on the front seat of his vehicle. And so, you know, when he got out, they had pushed the lady. So they showed them pushing the lady, like, and she like fell to the ground. So he's trying to help her, and they're grabbing him, and they already had his weapon, which he was licensed to carry the CCW. He handed it over, they took it, and then that's when they unalived him. And I was just like, and so then I started watching a news clip of it, and that's when I realized I do not need to be watching this if I'm going to go to sleep, because, you know, what kind of dreams am I going to have? So what I did is put on one of my longer tutorials. Y'all, like, all of them long. I did fall asleep, or start falling asleep, like 20 minutes into it, because I just needed to get my mind onto something neutral, because I was really just like, so this is where we are. And he's not the first one that they've unalived and lied and said, you know, terrorists, or, you know, at being an agitator, or assaulted, you know, the officer. We see it, and we know it's a lie. And so Janessa was like, you know, what is truth? Like, what is it these days? And, you know, when they just come out and just flat out lie, and it's just like, what? And for people who don't look at stuff, they just believe it. So then that's a thing too. And so it's just very, I was triggered. I was triggered because it upset me. And so it wasn't her fault that I was triggered. It's just that whole situation. And he's not the first one. And, you know, they're talking about Renee Good. We don't hear a lot about Keith Porter. Look him up. He was in Los Angeles when they unalived him unlawfully. And so I looked up again where he was, because I'm like, why are they not mentioning him? So I'm guessing, you know, they're just focusing on Minneapolis right now, which is where Renee was, and this guy was, I forget his name, which is why I'm not saying. I want to say Alex, but I'm not sure, and I don't want to mispronounce or misspeak. And so it's just horrible. It's just really horrible. Did I say we were going to stay like around here? Yeah. Yes, we are. And so I'm like watching her video. I said, you know what? Let me just do my base face, finish watching it. We're going to take, excuse me for that. I wonder if we just want to do this, and then something up here, and it will be monochromatic. Is this equinox? No, this is mycelium. 2 tidbits about me. Excuse me for those glares. Sometimes I curse because sometimes I curse. The second thing is there's an organism named Bruce that lives right here in my throat that wants to randomly hiccup and belch, and I felt him wanting to come visit you, and that's what reminded me to say that part. So this is mycelium. And so, and you know what, this looks it looks almost like equinox, and so I need to swatch those out as well. So you know what, I may do a members only swatch party of these. They did help me. That's this shade. It's looking very just gold. They did help me name these palettes, so I think that'll be fun if I have them help me do it. My concern is I'll get confused on like what's where, because I do be confusing myself. This just looks like a regular gold. It does have a tad bit of green in it, because I was thinking how close to a gold was it with equinox, but there is a hint of green in it. And I don't know why I see a brownish red right there, because y'all see it ain't no brownish red. It ain't. And granted, I don't have I didn't do a large swatch of it to see if it turns, But now we're going to take this shade, which is Fauna. I really like this shade. And so we're going to put this here. So this is going to be another monochromatic look. Colorful, impactful. Y'all, these little shades are so easy to work with. I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's F-R-A-U. She's overseas. She does the most beautiful looks. And she has big eyes. Not protruding eyes, but like how mine's are like kind of squinty a little bit. Like you see, like her eyes naturally look like this right here. And because I kept wondering, like, what is it with her pictures that I'm just like, oh my God, it's her eye shape. And so, and she doesn't have hooded lids. And so you're seeing all the colors and she's doing different poses and she holds up a mirror so you can see the shifts and all of that. And she did some looks with the Conjuring palette, which to me looked dusty. But I was like, after this notebook, do I want to get that? And then I said no, because I have a tendency to not care as much for their pre-mades as I do the singles, the BYOPs. And so I reminded myself of that. And then also I don't want to just get a palette based off of liking someone else's looks, because different eye shape, different technique, you know, whatever, my looks aren't going to look the same. And so I was like, okay, back to reality. No, don't get it. Now we're going to take Scarab, this shade. Do I want to do this one though? Rise from the Ashes. We have this, I believe, in my 669 dupe palette, and I think it may also be in my Mission XXX inspired palette. Oh man. But I'm thinking like these can go. And this is just for a buff out, because that doesn't do much. Okay, let's do what we're going to do. Scarab, and then we'll take that one. So this is Scarab, y'all. This shade, look. It is just so freaking pretty. Oh, man. And for me not to lean towards monochromatic looks, and I do always say they are really pretty, though. I just want more colors. But it's pretty and it's easy. And their formula, y'all, everything just flows. Like, I think I have Scarab in another palette too. And the thing is, I did the palettes in the way that I like the palette for what it is. And so even though I've always said I don't like having dupes in my collection, if I wanted a certain color in a palette, like with the Mission XXX inspired palette and 669, yeah, I got dupes, because I'm like, I wanted that color story in that palette. And so we know 669 dupe ain't going nowhere. We know Mission XXX inspired palette isn't going anywhere. So it's just kind of these other ones with like the rainbow type themes or just the lighter shades. And lighter shades do serve a purpose, and so I don't want to get rid of all of them. And that's why the one I showed you, what is it, Rainbow Shorebird, that one I'm feeling like is a keeper. But then I thought this too, because it is Dark Pocket, but it's only just really maybe these four, because these three, very pretty. They blend in together. It looks really nice, but it's not, I'm not gonna say it's not where I live. What I'm gonna say is this is the living room chilling. And when you real cool with people, y'all be sitting in the kitchen chit-chatting. If you know, you know. And so this one is in the living room, whereas something like 669 would be in the kitchen, because we in there just chilling. I'm looking at the shapes. This one is not far. This one is further over. So, and then also Janessa was talking about, I'll link her below. So do check her out, her YouTube channel out. And she was talking about AI. Like all this, the AI, you know, don't do it, it's horrible, do it, it's good. And I commented, I probably left like 6 comments under that live stream. That to me, I look at AI, I think of AI the same way as fire. It can be friend and it can be foe. It can be useful, but if you abuse it, it can hurt you. You know what I'm saying? And so it depends on your mindset, what you're using it for, what you're trying to do with it. And she made a good point, and it's something that someone else has said prior. Now we're going to take this shade here, which is Rise from the Ashes. And they were saying, like, for some, I have more space to do another shade. We're not going to take this all the way over. So this will be what? 4 shades? This is 4. yeah, we're going to put another shade on the outer portion of the lid. She was saying how if you use AI to do, she was saying like big breasted, you know, anime or something like that. She's like, that person isn't taking anybody's job because nobody's doing that. Well, not many people doing that to where it would impact, you know, that community or whatever. And for artwork, you know, it's like, you know, pay the artist, but if it's an astronomical amount of money and you're only going to use it one time, it's just like, okay, what? And so I understood what she was saying. And what also made sense to me, I have said I don't like AI, but something she said made sense. She was like, they don't know what is good for yet, so they're just using it for as much things as they can and to see what it works best for. And then, you know, it'll bust this bubble of AI everywhere and it'll just be kind of focused on, you know, certain things. And I hadn't thought about that before, but I realized that is why I was just overwhelmed and over AI, because it's just everywhere. And even on YouTube, use AI for titles, use AI to analyze your thumbnails. I don't do none of that. I don't. I mean, I'm basic. I'm a basic troll, but it made sense to me, and I'm like, okay, that's why it seems to have infiltrated every area of the globe. We're going to take another brush, and we're going to take, we can either take Nightless or Nightshade, or we can take anything we want to take. we're going to take Nightshade. No, this is Nightless. This is Nightless. And so that made sense to me. And I'm like, that's why it seems like it's every friggin' where, because they're using it for like so many things. I will say though, I don't like to push for it. And I'm only on TikTok, I'm on Instagram. I don't do AI for Instagram either. So I'm just not interested in it. And maybe because I am just basic, or maybe it has to do with age. Like, just give me like simple stuff to do and not have to go through all these loops. And I'm not tech savvy either. And so I'm just like, nah, no thanks. And so she was talking about that. I'll link that live below as well, so you can just watch it. So I'll link her channel, which will take you to her channel, and I will link the live that I'm constantly referring to, and that has me here, because I'm like, I need to do something, because my emotions, I said emotions, funny. My emotions were taking me over, trying to put sorrow deep in my soul. I know, Tanya, you remember that song. Who sang that song? Yes, I knew I needed to do something. So I didn't want to just sit there and just be, you know, pissed off or agitated. And this is my happy place, sitting here at my station. So I'm like, I'm going to do my base face. And then I'm looking at the shapes. This one is more rounded. This one is more straight, as usual. So we're going to bring this straight out. And hopefully it'll stay straight, which depends on if I keep it straight. So I know it's me. It's always me. So that was that. And then what else did she talk about? She talked about, I had it on the tip of my tongue, and then I started looking at these shapes and got distracted. This is pretty, but it looks like, it looks typical. Not the typical YouTube look, but typical for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yeah, that's really pretty. But is it like, ooh? I don't think so. And we did use the darker shades. Well, these are not dark, but we used these two. We're going to put this on lower lash line. If I do put this in my store, I will spray it with, and we use this one too. So we use these 4, 5, and 6. We're going to put this lower lash line. We're going to buff out up here, and then here, not my third eye, and then maybe put this one under the brow bone. That's what I'm thinking. There was something else that she mentioned, and I can't remember what it is right now. So this one is Lore, And I'm sure I only got this as a blend out, buff out shade, which I don't use. Usually I just take this brush with no shadow on it and blend out this top line. And so thank you, Janessa, for getting me off my ass to do a look today, which was in my calendar to do, but I was comfy on my sofa under some throw blankets. But I'm like, can you see the difference? That's what this shade does for me. So this is without it, this is with it, and we didn't even do a lot, but you see how it just gives that automatic blend, even though it is like, you know, blending into my skin tone. But this is making me think this shade is a keeper, because look. What else did she say? She was talking about pot cookies. I never even heard that term before. I've never had edibles. I don't think I need edibles. Yo, she told the story she told was so freaking funny. Behind the pot. See, look at that. I'm gonna have to keep this shade, even though it's not a color, and it did tone down. Like, I'm seeing this line right here, which, well, that side doesn't have it, so it's not this. What else was she saying? Oh, this is something I had talked about before. She was saying, you know, people get monetized and then they start talking about, you know, they're not doing this or doing that because they're not getting paid enough or blah, blah, blah. And she was saying, but how long were they doing videos before they got monetized? I had said that a few times before too. People get monetized and like don't do content for free. Boo boo, honey, troll, child. You were doing free content before you got monetized. So now you complain and you don't make, you know, enough. First of all, the house always wins, period, with a T. So you thinking you gonna pop off more than YouTube? No. And I've heard people say that, and they get monetized and be like, you know, don't work for free. If a brand contacts you, you know, for partnership or affiliation or something, you know, make sure you getting what you want your rate to be and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I disagree with that, because you got to start somewhere. And I will speak for myself. When brands would, and I'll say legitimate brands, because some brands, it's just like, who are you? Why are you contacting me to review dog food? I don't even have pets. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, seriously, I have had emails like that. And I'm like, y'all smoking something. And it must be good, because this ain't making no sense. Let's do under our brow bone. We're going to take this shade. This has green in it. When I look at it over here, it's like a lime green. This is Inhibit. So I'm going to get ready to start rapping. The hip hop, the hip to the hip hop. Why can you don't stop? Y'all, old school hip hop, y'all, was funny. Like, some of it aged really well, and then some of it is like, what? There's this other song, and I'm just like, and when I hear it, I just laugh, because back in the day, that was the jam, but that was like, what the hell? It is funny. This is pretty. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, is it going to call to me when I do something with it? This is going to be a keeper unless I have a shade very similar. I know I have a shade that's a little bit deeper than this because I didn't want to get the same shade. But this one, look at that. In this shade, that's where it'll be. And you know what? Something we don't normally do. Let's just put it like right here too. Y'all know I seldom do my tear duct, but hey. Yeah, so I remember seeing it before, like, how long were you doing videos before you got monetized? And now you got monetized and you complaining, don't do nothing for money, they need to pay. And so for myself, though, legitimate brands, like that skincare brand in California, I had to sign paperwork. I'm like, what the hell? And even with City Beauty, I didn't have to sign anything, but it's such a good experience. And so who just jumps into business? That is pretty. That is pretty. And so I disagree with, you know, don't do nothing for free, because you got to crawl before you can walk, and stop being so damn arrogant and entitled. You know what I'm saying? You got to start somewhere. And so I didn't mind. And especially if it was a company I was interested in, like City Beauty, because they have a lot of stuff. Most of their skincare didn't work for me. I do like their brightening eye cream. Does it brighten? I don't know, because I put it on and then I cover it up with concealer. I don't like that it gets dry in the nozzle part, because then that wastes, you know, the length of that. But y'all see I use it almost every video, so that is a keeper for me. Will I repurchase it? If it was 40% off, I would repurchase it, like, for sure. But full price, I don't know, because I don't really know if it's making a difference. I like their mascara. Yo, chapstick. Their lip oil kick chapstick to the curb. This is the plumping lip oil for daytime. You see me put it on for videos. If I'm just running out, I'll put this on. And I have their night lip oil, which is not plumping. I have been using that every morning before I go to bed since I got it. And when they have replenishments, you know, I put in to have it replenished. And when they had a bundle with one of their plumping lip glosses, I purchased it. This with the lip gloss. So that tells you something. And so it's a good experience, you know, working with different brands, as well as, we're going to do this on first half of lower lash line, and then we're going to put this on second half. So then that'll be us using all 8 of these shades, 9, 10 shades out of 12. It's nothing for me, y'all, to use a bunch of shades. So, you know, do it for the experience. If it's something that you are interested in, like if you, and then somebody contacted me for something else, and I'm like, I know you lied saying you enjoy my videos, because do I ever talk about pets? It was something else. Somebody sent me something, an email about, and I didn't reply back. And some of them are bold. They'll send another email a month later. We're just, you know, we didn't hear back from you. That was your answer. So we're just following up again. I don't answer. Another couple months, they email again. And I'm just like, what is it with these people? But anyway, if it is something that is interesting to me, or I'm like, you know what, that would be nice to try that, then yeah, just do it. And I will say, though, as you probably picked up, is that I have been selective with what I talk about. What was that company, iMethod, years ago? Every other video on YouTube was iMethod, because they were sending out their eyeliner stamps to seem like almost everybody. Like, they saturated BeautyTube for a hot minute, and it was just outrageous. So don't think you're special. Don't think you're special. Because iMethod, y'all, so many people was receiving their stuff. But I was curious about that. I didn't keep it long, so that tells you something. But I don't think I had a problem with it. Not that I remember. I would have to go back. And I do have a playlist for that. I don't even know if they're still around. I guess that they are. I'm trying to get this to not get eaten up with that dark green, which to me, it looks blue. Sometimes to me, as it sits, it looks blue. But that's the green we put on the lower lash line. And I know that because we put the blue on our inner rims. And so, like, initially, I do see the difference between the green and the blue, but then as it dries down, I guess, the green to me looks like it's blue. This looks blue to me. Let me know if it looks blue to you, because sometimes it is just me, and I'll be looking at stuff like, I don't know what color it is. So, now we're going to take, this is Nightshade. And this is blue, so this should blend in. And so what we're going to do is we're going to blow it down, make it smoke it underneath. And so just don't be arrogant. YouTube is my job. Like Janessa was saying, most of the people that are complaining, this is not, you know, they still work a day job. Now someone like, and even like Alicia Archer, she still works. I think she does, I don't want to say dance class, and I don't know if it's not like aerobics, but it's something dealing with what she does. And if you've seen her workout videos, well, her training videos, like, she is very flexible. She's almost like a contortionist in a way. And so she teaches classes, you know, for, you know, doing splits and flexibility. I don't know exactly what it's called, but, you know, she has a job. The only person I can think of off the top of my head that does YouTube and lives off of YouTube is Morgan Turner. And she's been doing this probably over 20 years. And I'm not even going to say Baddie Bean, because she runs a salon. But she has a large YouTube channel. But it's these smaller channels, like say my size or, you know, less than like 4,000 subscribers. And they're talking about they don't get paid enough. Girl, you better keep going to your day job. The house always wins. You're never going to make more than YouTube makes. And like a year or so ago, I had saw someone who was not monetized had ads on their videos. And I was just like, wait a minute. And I double checked their page. They had like 500 something subscribers. And this is before the shorts thing, where you can, you know, get monetized through shorts. And so I was like, they making money off her channel and she's not making money off her channel. And so what somebody told me was, and I really appreciate it, they said, we aren't entitled to monetization. And if YouTube wants to run ads on our channels, even when we're not monetized, like they can do that because this is their platform. And also what she said to me, which was very helpful in changing my perspective, is she said, YouTube gives us this platform for free. For free. So if they want to run an ad on your non-monetized channel to make money off of you, okay. And so I was really, you know, thankful that she said that to me because it's true. They give us this for free. We don't pay anything to be on here. So if you want to say, you know, you're not making enough, okay, then go to a platform where you have to pay to be on there to post your content. And then talk about you don't get paid enough. And so it's about perspective. This side is more blown down, but this side is more neat. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take, I didn't wash the brushes that I used in yesterday's look. Oh man, and I used both of those loose ass angle brushes from LaRouche that I complained about too. And I'm looking for one, right? As much as I don't like that brush. I don't want to use, shit. I want a fluffy brush, but not too fluffy. All right, let me just take another one of these Fenty brushes. And the one I used yesterday. So I'm going to have to at least wash these. We're going to take this shade up here because we know this is going to blend out, buff out, you know, clean that up. Look at that. Y'all, this shade is a keeper. This shade is a keeper because it just fixed the line. This side was nothing wrong with it. This one was looking jagged, but this shade, Lore, for me, and it does look like my complexion, but it just cleaned it right up, made it straight. So we've used 8, 9, 10 shadows. The only 2 we didn't use was these, and we have Equinox in the palette we used yesterday. So y'all know I'm looking like, where can I put this? Should I use that as a blush? Am I tripping? Yes. I do kind of want to see. I am straight tripping. Janessa got my head all messed up. We're going to use a highlighter brush. We're going to do it. This shade is Echo. So we're going to... and watch it look nice. Y'all, this is... Ooh. Y'all, this is pretty. So am I keeping this whole palette? I'm going to say no, because I'm looking at this look and it looks like something I could do with something else. This is pretty as a blush. This is pretty as a blush. And it is really showing it up. Well, a little bit. It's like a bit. It's definitely added a little color, but it looks very natural. I do see it more in the mirror down here. But y'all, this, all right, we're going to go this way and this way because we're going to, and this is a highlighter brush. So we're going to do both sides so we can go back and forth and then sweep it. And look how I got that shine up here. Look at this. Y'all. And so y'all know what I'm going to do now because I'm just straight tripping. We're going to take another highlighter brush and we're going to go ahead and take Equinox. We're going to take Equinox and we're just going to... Ooh. Ooh. I hope y'all are taking note of this silence, because I am seldom speechless. The hell? This is pretty. This is reminding me of Fire Opal in a way, because that's described as an orange yellow. And so this next to Echo, which is orange, and this is clearly like just a gold shade. Excuse me for those glares. Oh man. So we've used all 12 of these shades. And so what I'm thinking, let me hold up Rainbow Shorebird, because these are definitely more bold. So we have that gold shade down here, but we can easily say in a corner shade, and then, you know, the green, the blue, the purple. But these are more vibrant than the green, blue, and purple in here. So this look is nice. And that on the cheeks. Oh, I'm just trying to put stuff away. Ugh. That's pretty. That surprised me. All right, let's do the lip real quick. So we did all of that. Do I want to, oh shit. Upper lash line. I'm thinking red. I'm thinking this would too, but this one will be subtle. Let me take a MAC 210. I might need a thick, no, I don't need a thicker brush for this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. So if you are a smaller channel, and I do consider myself a small channel, I do know, and I do remember when it was smaller than it is. This is not, I see it on the brush, but it's not wanting to. I don't really want to use this brush. Ow, I hit myself in the nose. This, yeah, we're gonna take this brush. We're gonna go back and forth. It was picking up though, so I'm not understanding. Wait a minute, this is not, are you dry? But I do see it on, you can see it, right? That brown shade. Am I gonna just not? This is dry. I do have door line right here at my station, but we're not going to do all that right now. Excuse me for that glare. Yeah, this is dry. Yeah, so just don't be arrogant. If you do not get, you know, PR and you get contacted for it, be selective. And I'm saying that because, one, if you just take PR for anything, like I could have been like, oh yeah, send me, you know, those, you know, dog treats and give them to my neighbor because they have a dog, and have them report back to me if their dog liked it or not. Because it's disingenuous. And if people are consistent with watching your channel, they'll know what you're about. So if they see you start talking about dog food, like, what the hell is she talking about? Or whatever. Y'all, this is dry. Am I going to want to revive it, though? That's the question. And I can say I have never used the door line, so this would be an opportunity to use it. But I kind of just want to keep going. But if I revive it, this process will go by a lot quicker. You know what I'm saying? So why am I still not trying it? Because I'm stubborn. You're my neighbor. And she knew I was asleep. I heard my phone ring. Everything is on silent. No. Everything is on vibrate on my phone except phone calls. And so I heard it ring. I looked at it. It was her. I'm like, hey. And I hate sounding asleep. So I was like, hey, neighbor. And she's like, hey, are you asleep? I said, you know I am. And she was like, yeah, I did. Because she had sent me a text and I didn't reply. So yeah, she knew I was asleep. She said, I made lasagna and I wanted to know if you wanted some for dinner. And I was like, oh! And she told me it has ricotta cheese in it because she knows I have an intolerance to some dairy. And so I told her, and she said she had already wrapped it up and she would bring it up. I said, no. I said, I'll come down. I said, I'll come down and I'll just taste it because tasting it will let me know, excuse me if you heard that in my throat, if I'm going to have a stomach issue with it. And so she heated up some. And by a little bit, I just meant like 2 bites. She gave me enough, y'all. It was like 6 bites, which was cool. And it was like a snack. But it was cool because I was really able to just take my time, take a couple bites, sit and wait and see like how, you know, my body was feeling with it. And so needless to say, I had one in my freezer. I could hear snowplows again. That beeping you hear, that's the snowplow backing up, and then I hear it scraping the snow. Oh, I know I say my rent is high, but I can hear and see where it's going. There's that swoosh that some of y'all said y'all like by accident using this thick brush for this dried out eyeliner. And that's what woke me up earlier because I kept hearing and then the beeps. Thank you for being here because I didn't intend for this to be this long. Beyond Mascara from City Beauty. And so I went down. I said, I'm going to brush my teeth and come down. She's like, okay. So I went down and we were sitting there talking and, you know. So she packaged up 2. And she's old school that she freezes food. The only thing I freeze that's cooked is pasta sauce and chili. And sometimes bagels, sometimes bread. But I've never, like, okay, you have chicken and mashed potatoes for dinner, and then, you know, you put some in the freezer. Like, I've never done that. And so she knows how to package it. And she's like, well, I package it, you know, this way, and aluminum foil, you know, blah, 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 blah. And so I told her I'll eat one tonight and one piece it looked really big. It was all wrapped up and closed up. I said, I'll put that one in the freezer. Because this morning before I went to bed, I took out a sauce and a chili and a piece of salmon. So I'm like, I have these things to eat. But because I just took them out today, you know, they're good for, I'll say 3 days in the fridge. I don't like to go past that. I am going to eat the fish tonight, though, because I don't take chances with the fish. And the sauce and the chili will keep at least 3 days, because sometimes it takes a day and a half to thaw. And so that gives me like an extra day to not be concerned about it going bad or making me sick. And so, and she had got me those corn puffs I like from Trader Joe's. She's like, yeah, because I know sometimes you don't be having proper snacks. And I told her I've been craving junk food too, and I don't have any. So that was really cool. I got lasagna and cheese puffs. And so I think I kind of want to do the sauce, because it was a nice size sample of the lasagna, and I don't want to push it as far as my stomach. What color lipstick? What color lippy stick? I should have thought about that before. I had to put a label on here because this is the one where I was disappointed, because I thought it was going to be blue. And so my label says looks like wet gray cement. And it's matte and it looks like it's a metallic. Do I want to put that? Yeah, let's just put this on. Did I take this with me when I went away? Like, look at this. Do not look like that. We're going to put it on. And I was disappointed because I wanted a blue. This does not look like this. It feels nice. It smells good. And so I knew if I was going to keep it, I need to put a label on it, what it looks like. So I won't be thinking, oh, let's go for blue, because this is not blue. Maybe a pale blue gray. Pale grayish blue. But I wanted to be specific with what it looks like, so that I will not be disillusioned. So that's why I put, because to me it does look like wet cement. Yeah, it looks like wet gray cement. And it's matte because it looks like it's metallic. Yeah, I felt annoyed because I'm like, this is not the color I was going for the look that I did. And I was going to declutter it, and I'm like, you know what? It is a pretty color. It's a nice golf color. This would be nice too for an ombre lip, black, and put this on the center. And so I decided to keep it. So this is the look, y'all. I don't like it with the eye look. But the eye look, I can say I've done this before with my lethals. And I do think we're going to do a members only. So members, if you're watching this, let me know if that's what you would like. Yeah, members. Because members get to make decisions on some of the content that goes on here. $2.99 a month. You may or may not pay taxes on that. And you can cancel at any time. But the perk I love the best is members get to make a request. And so that's why you'll hear me say, even in live streams, I'm looking at this liner, you'll hear me say, okay, here's a question I want to hear particularly from the members, because they do have input into the content here. So if you want to have input, if you want to make requests, if you want to, make suggestions, and it doesn't have to be makeup, it can be a topic just to sit and talk about. Becoming a member is a way to do that. And I just thought about something else that Janessa has said. And I lost it that quick. So we're going to go though, y'all. But I do really like the look. That Lorah shade, that buffed out shade, this cheek situation with, I am just like, girl. But I do have enough blushes and highlighters though, for real. So we're going to go. Thank you for being here. As always, y'all, self-acceptance, self-love, that is the Crazy Troll Nation way. If you're still here and you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. And do consider joining the membership. Click join. It'll show you the perks. It won't automatically join you. And so if the perks appeal to you, we would love to have you. And so thank you, and you'll see me soon.